Hi, this is Anna London with Cyvergance, and in this episode, I'm actually going to be talking about brand refresh versus rebrand, evaluating when it's time. Okay, and I'm going to speak from experience because I went through a rebranding myself. My company was originally named Chrysallis.AI and renamed it to Cyvergance AI, right? There's a lot of thought that went into that. We had excellent customer feedback and from our students and interns alike, right, that love the new branding, love the new look, and it more aligns with our Cyvergance family of products and services, right? So as a business owner, we've likely put our blood, sweat, and tears into building our brand, okay? Our logo design, our colors, messaging, and overall identity are precious to us, right? But over time, our brand can start to feel stale and consumer preferences, shift. New competitors enter our space with fresher brands, or maybe our offerings have evolved and our original branding no longer fits. So my original branding was Chrysallis.AI, right? And it originally fit with the initial education offering of the product, right? We had a product, a Metaversity. That's even gone through a rebranding as well, because again, it was definitely necessary. So Chrysalis is known for transformation, right? That's what Chrysalis stands for, right? It's synonymous with the pupa from the metamorphosis, right? The transition from the, into the butterfly, right? From the pupa into the butterfly. But since then, we've reevaluated, and based upon customer feedback, student feedback, intern feedback, we've rebranded to Cyvergance because it's more a play on convergence, right? It's the convergence of AI, right, and the human and cybersecurity, right, which is the complementary layer to that and should be interwoven with that, right, those elements there. I went ahead and spelled it CYV as in Victor, ER, G as in golf, A, and then N as in Nancy, CE, right, Cyvergance, instead of with the ENCE, okay? I did that to kind of stand out better, Chrysalis, there were lots of Chrysalis. So the problem too is when you do the search, there were so many Chrysalises spelled different ways, 2 L's, 1 L's, etc. It's just overly used name. Whereas Cyvergance, I already had a podcast named Cyvergance. And so collectively, my team decided to just go ahead, let's just name the company's, Cyvergance, AI. And again, it better aligns with our branding because the old branding just no longer fit. We do education, professional services, we have a SOC, right, Security Operations Center and all that. Our brand started feeling outdated or really misaligned, okay? And we had an essential decision. We could refresh our current brand or initiate a rebrand. And the choice impacted everything from our marketing materials to our budget. So we had to weigh our options carefully, okay? And in my company's early days, we positioned ourselves as friendly, folks to basically, help folks enter the cybersecurity field, right? And close the diversity and critical skills gaps in cybersecurity. But my bread and butter for years has been consulting. And, I come from a hands-on experience in, education, government, and commercial entities alike, right? And that's the value that we infuse into our programs. Okay, but similarly, we also place our folks on, onto teams at, different organizations, right? So, and we provide support to businesses and, companies and of course, government agencies, right? Of all, shapes and forms, et cetera, right? Which is amazing. So that's the value. And, we positions ourselves, I think just better equipped, for what we were aligning ourselves with our products and services. We needed a different approach, okay? So we also expanded our software platforms. One is the Metaversity XR, that's the EdTech, right, platform that we created. And then the other is Piranha AI, right? So that is the IoT intrusion prevention system, okay? So it was definitely time to rebrand, at least for my case, right? So again, I'm just sharing key factors to consider when deciding between a brand refresh and a rebrand because they are different, okay? I'm going to help provide strategic framework for us, basically to guide you, hopefully, in making the correct branding move for your current business needs and goals. Because a well-executed refresh or rebrand is an investment that can pay dividends for years to come. And for us, it's paid off exponentially, right? The website hits are going through the roof and we're getting lots of different conversions. And, even with government contracts, it's going well, right? It's just a lot better with the branding. So then how do we define brand refresh versus rebrand? So before weighing our options, it is essential to understand what exactly is meant by a brand refresh compared to a complete rebrand. So a brand refresh breathes new life into our current visual identity and messaging. The emphasis is on updating elements of our brand rather than overhauling it completely. We would then keep our current company name, our logos updated, not replaced, colors, fonts, and design elements are refreshed. Our brand messaging would be refined and updated, but not necessarily rewritten from scratch, right? Like you see in a complete rebrand. We would keep the same general brand voice and personality and then just sharpen it, right? Our website and collateral would then get a makeover with refreshed design, content, and functionality. And overall, the updates would build on existing brand equity versus starting completely fresh. So an example of a successful brand refresh, is Spotify. They updated their bold, bright green logo while maintaining strong brand recognition. Microsoft has also refreshed its classic wordmark and color palette to feel more contemporary many times over, okay, over the past decades, right, that it's been in play. But let's talk about rebrand because a rebrand overhauls your company's visual identity, messaging, and more. And the goal is to reposition our brand to reflect significant internal or external changes. So in our case, our company name changed completely, right, from Chrysallis.AI to Cyvergance AI, and of course, short name Cyvergance. Right? We adopted a brand new logo, color palette, typography, imagery, and design language. So in our logo, right, our old logo, it was with the brain. It was a digital brain. It was actually super cool. I did love the old logo. And we kept a similar color palette, just made it more, just fresh and fun, right? And with the new logo, right, with Cyvergance, we chose a phoenix bird, right? But a sleek phoenix bird, that better aligned with the change, the rebirth, right? Of the company, basically. It's our rebranding. And come to find out, I'm actually a descendant of the Potawatomi Native Americans tribe. And they're the keepers of the fire. So when I was looking at my heritage, I noticed that I thought that was quite telling. I thought that was, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is, right? So, I thought that was amazing, actually. And so it's like, okay, that some things are meant to be. If you're looking for a sign, that's a sign if I've ever seen one, right? All right, so we also, our brand messaging, the voice and personality were rewritten also from square one. The core values, though, mission, vision, and values did not change, okay? Our website, though, and all branded touch points got a complete makeover. And the emphasis was on reinventing our brand story and equities versus just evolving them, okay? Some major corporate rebrands have included Anderson Consulting. Remember them? Well, guess what? They became Accenture. And Backrub morphed into Google. Yes, that's their prior name is Backrub. Can you believe it? More recently, Dunkin' dropped the donuts from its name to reflect its more comprehensive menu. So, as you can see, rebrands require much more time, resources, and heavy lifting than refreshes, but in some cases, they're needed to unlock future growth and opportunities. And look what happened with Twitter, right? It's now XAI, right? So let's talk about some key factors to consider. So now that we've defined a brand refresh versus a rebrand, okay, whatever you decide, so I'm going through each, right? So let's explore 5 key factors to weigh as you decide which approach is right for your business. And again, for me, it was a rebrand. For you, it might be a refresh. So let's walk through what those elements are to consider. So number 1, how much has your business changed, right? And even if you're a startup, it's okay to evolve. It is okay to evolve. Maybe initially when you incorporated the name, it sounded great, but then maybe after time you get customer feedback and maybe it's not resonating as well as you'd hoped, right? Even with the feedback, believe it or not, consistent feedback over time is very helpful. And that's what we got too. Think about how much your products, services, mission, and values have evolved since you first developed your branding. Have you pivoted to an entirely different model or market? So have you added, so many new offerings that your original identity feels restrictive? And again, that's why Rechange too, we've seen rapid growth too from a small startup to an enterprise as well. So, we're getting there anyways. Significant internal changes to our business model. Offerings and customers indicate that it may be time for a rebrand rather than a refresh. And that was, again, in our case. Our branding should evolve as your company does, okay? For example, when Reed Hastings expanded from DVD rentals to streaming in 2007, Netflix underwent a significant rebrand to position itself as a digital entertainment leader. Their new logo, the look, and messaging match the company's strategic transformation. On the flip side, if your core business model is solid, but your branding feels stuck in the past, our refresh can definitely modernize things without the risk of complete cost of a rebrand. So how does your branding perform with customers? And that's really the key here, because does it resonate, right? Because you might think it does. You might have thought it was great that the name was it's your idea, right? A lot of people get too attached to their own idea, but customer awareness, brand awareness, right? Does it resonate with your customers, right? How's it performing with your customers? Okay, so our brand identity exists to create desire and build loyalty with customers. So assessing whether your current branding and positioning still resonates or needs to be updated is vital, okay? What are customers saying about your company and branding in reviews, social media, and surveys, right? And make sure they're not biased surveys, make sure they're open-ended. Does website traffic and conversion data show people connecting with your messaging? Or is brand awareness and sentiment declining, okay? And it's okay, be honest with yourself, right? Because the quicker you can be on it and pivot, the better off you'll be, like in our case, right? And I'm not going to lie, I did hold on to Chrysallis for a minute because I was definitely personally attached. I mean, I had named the company, so I was definitely personally attached. But, you have to think beyond yourself, right? You have to think, customer, right? Because it's about our customers, okay? And again, Cyvergance just made better sense anyways. Like I said, it better aligns with our products and services as a whole, actually. It's amazing. If our branding actively turned people off, our customers off, or they no longer engaged, it no longer really engages them, it may likely be a time for an overhaul through a rebrand. A refresh may not be enough to fix deeper issues. So, that's when Comcast, by the way, noticed that negative customer perception severely hampered its brand. That company initiated a significant rebrand focused on completely transforming the customer experience, right? It's all about the customer, folks, not you, the customer. If you've a substantial brand equity that needs modernizing, though, like Microsoft, for instance, a refresh can update the packaging while preserving brand recognition and loyalty, right? And they've done that several times. So who are your competitors? So you need to take a close look at direct competitors and their branding. And please don't say that you don't have any competitors. You do, okay? You absolutely do. There's no way that you don't, okay? So if newer players have entered your space with robust and modern branding, it can threaten your positioning. So a competitive audit is definitely crucial. Do some research globally, not just in the United States either. Do these competitors make your company seem dated in comparison? Okay. Do they better attract your ideal demographic? Are prospects favoring their branding over yours? So facing new competition with fresh strategic branding signifies that a rebrand may be needed to reclaim your positioning. For instance, remember Old Navy, right? Struggled as newer, fast fashion brands like H&M ate into their market share, like Pac-Man, right? To re-energize interest, Old Navy underwent an extensive rebrand focusing on updated fashion and vibrant visuals, right? But if you can still stand out from your competitors, a refresh and adding maybe some modern polish can help maintain your edge. Starbucks has remained a leader throughout, frequent rebranding, refreshes, or frequent really refreshes and constant rebrands, right? Over and over and over again. Amazing, right? So does our brand align with business goals? That's the other question you need to be asking. Your business strategy keeps evolving, but does your branding still align? You may have expanded geographically and need to translate better globally. And see, that's our case too, right? So, because we're everywhere. We've had students and interns, we've had students from all over and customers from all over, from everywhere. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised at how many people have signed up for our programs and, services and everything. It's just amazing who we've had in our classes and provided services for. It's just amazing. So, if you've expanded geographically, you may need to transfer better on a global scale, right? So you're going to want to attract top talent too by conveying your workplace culture. And again, hence my website, because if you look at my website, right, I've also leveraged different folks from all generations, right? Input from Gen Zs, millennials, Gen Xs, right? Everyone. The color schema is fun. It's delightful. It's attractive, right? It's interactive, and it really speaks to a more youthful, right, customer persona, if you will. And it's been well received, actually. And it does convey a fun, interactive workplace culture, okay? We may be targeting higher end customers than before, right? So ours has a combination, right? So we're targeting people all over, right? And I wanted, the website needs to stand out. It can't look like everyone else's too, right? I want something to remember. Its colors pop. It's engaging. It's interactive, right? And it resonates with everyone. It's, we've gotten some really good feedback from it. And our hits on our website have spiked, it's a huge spike in clicks, right? And conversions, which is awesome. So it is definitely paying off. A refresh or rebrand is definitely necessary when your branding and strategic objectives fall out of sync. Okay, so which approach depends on how aligned the core of your current branding really remains. For instance, a complete rebrand made sense when Burger King wanted to expand internationally and attract a more health-conscious audience. So the old fast food focused branding was too limiting, right? But refresh can be enough if most of your brand foundation is solid. So when Arm & Hammer wanted to expand beyond baking soda, they successfully refreshed versus starting entirely over, right? And then the other question you should ask is, what's your budget? Okay, what's your budget? Because let's be honest about how much we can reasonably invest in any branding update. Okay, rebrands are far more expensive than a refresh due to the required work. Okay, so it's incredibly important you really think this through. Refresh or rebrand. In our case, it definitely made sense, and it's paying off in dividends. But that might not be the case for everyone, right? So everyone's situation is different. It requires a different objective, analyses, right? Branding agencies will usually quote redesign budgets from $50,000 to $200,000, right? But if finances are tight, a phased refresh can still provide an impactful update. Now, we rebranded ourselves. I did the logo, and all that. So, I'm pretty good at logos, actually. So, we did the logo and all that. So, you can actually check it out and give us feedback. It's been well received, actually. But what I did was, with my team and others, just kind of gotten feedback on to make sure, went through several iterations of the logo, of course, to find the best one for us. If finances, though, are tight, a phased refresh can still provide an impactful update for a much lower cost. And you notify the customers, right? So definitely, notify your stakeholders, notify everyone because, we rebranded. And then, of course, why? Why did you rebrand, right? So, focus on modernizing key customer touch points first, okay? and then trickle down to any changes to the rest of our materials over time, which is what we did. Scraping by on a shoestring budget can result in a smooth, practical refresh. And if we require significant changes to reposition our floundering brand, we can, hopefully secure proper funding, but it may not always be available to everyone, okay? You may need to delay efforts a little bit, but again, don't delay too long, okay? Just do it. And again, you'd be surprised at how many resources avail themselves, with that case. So, but again, and learn, if you need to learn how to make logos or whatever, but get feedback. Color scheme matters. There's a lot of research in colors and font and everything, right? As far as what the customer experience is, what the feeling is when people see blue versus yellow versus red, etc. It does make a difference, actually. So definitely research those elements, okay? So making the call, refresh or rebrand, right? So, after working through these factors, now you should have a clearer sense of whether your brand needs a refresh to polish things up or a rebrand to rebuild from scratch. More time may be needed for additional evaluation. If you can't decide for your unique situation, then I'm going to share a few overarching guidelines to help you decide on the right branding move, right? So when to refresh your brand? So your core offerings and business model are unchanged. Your brand strategy is primarily sound but needs to be updated. You want to modernize without losing existing brand equity. And of course, your budget is limited. You have significant brand awareness and loyalty to remain, right? And to maintain. When to rebrand your business, right? So again, you've undergone significant internal changes to your model and offerings. Your brand has weakened severely over time. You operate in an outdated category, maybe facing fresh new competitors. Your brand identity actively hurts more than helps with your positioning, okay? You can secure adequate funding and resources. Or, like I said, you've got internal resources that can actually, do it without having that exorbitant cost, right? It's amazing how much you can do on your own without having to, hire additional, companies that will just, honestly, they'll zap you dry, right? A lot of people will offer a lot of things. That doesn't mean they can do it and do it right, right? So one of the biggest mistakes, though, is trying a halfway rebrand without fully committing time and money to overhaul things properly. So that's what we did. It took several months, okay, honestly. And remember, because I already had brand recognition with Chrysallis.AI, we ran several articles and features, and I even have testimonials with Chrysallis.AI. So my old, software, application was Chrysallis, right? So, it was very difficult to make that decision. But we did pivot, and you know what? We happen to be better off for it, okay? But we didn't do a halfway. We just did it over time. We did it, even the domain name, right, too. The domain name, the emails, all that stuff changed from Chrysallis.AI to Cyvergance.AI. So, you need to really fully commit to overhaul things properly, though, okay? Don't half-step it. So be honest about which direction is right, okay? And again, don't do it and don't make a knee-jerk reaction either or an impulsive decision. Definitely think this out, think this through with your team, okay? And get an objective review. Talk to your advisors, right? Go get advisors, good advisors, actually. A smart refresh or rebrand also cannot happen in a silo. So bring in stakeholders across units to align on strategy and execution. And definitely solicit external customer perspectives through surveys, unbiased surveys and focus groups. Don't assume you know their needs. Go out and get their feedback, okay? That's important, okay? And some of it might hurt, some of it might not, right? But that's okay. It's meant to be, look, feedback is a gift. Definitely a gift. If your customer is willing to tell you right, wrong, or indifferent, good, bad, the good, the bad, the ugly, excellent. That's awesome because somebody has taken their time. They could have filled out something else, right? If they give you feedback, especially if it's poignant feedback, take it. Definitely take it. Finally, though, don't launch any updated branding until you have buy-in and training across your organization. Your team must embrace and properly implement any changes to succeed, right? So that's what we did. I just, talked to my entire team, okay? And, when we execute a strategic brand refresh, right, for instance, you're going to want to pursue a refresh, right? If you are pursuing a refresh, there's some optimized processes to follow too. So you want to set your objectives, right? Start by defining specific objectives you want to refresh to achieve. For example, make your technology company feel more modern and innovative, right? Streamline your sophisticated financial services branding if you have a financial services company. Give your product packaging more shelf appeal, right? That's important too, right? With clear goals, you can later evaluate if the refresh hits the mark. You also want to audit current branding because you're going to want to thoroughly audit your current branding and identify pain points and opportunities. Examine your logo, the color scheme, the typography, the messaging and visuals. Assess both subjective elements. For instance, does our current branding feel dated, or in the concrete issues, the logo doesn't resize well digitally, or whatever it is, right? Include customer perspectives from surveys or interviews, right? And be open-minded, okay? And willing to accept feedback, right? And listen to your customers. Because, honestly, research competitors and trends as well. Don't become complacent on that, because you're going to want to conduct external research on competitors, customers, and market trends. You're going to want to look for gaps where their branding resonates maybe better than yours, or leverage the latest trends you are missing. Identify what strategically differentiates you, okay, if I can spit that out, and areas where your branding should modernize to align with customer needs and expectations, right? You want to refresh key elements too. So with insights from your research, start refreshing your branding elements individually. Logo, start with that logo. Simplify and streamline logo shape and lines. That's what we did. If you notice, we have a sleek design, okay? A sleek design, and it's modern design, right? It speaks to the technology and everything. It's awesome, actually. Simplify and streamline that logo shape and lines. Update colors and typography. Ensure the logo works digitally and in small sizes, okay? Messaging, that's the next thing you're going to want to tackle. Refine your taglines and messaging. You're going to want to sharpen positioning and value proposition. You're going to update tone and voice where needed, right? And then your visuals. Incorporate more lifestyle imagery, increase diversity, and align with modern aesthetics, okay? Your website, you're going to want to redesign your layout and user experience. Refresh content and copy, and update functionality and new features, okay? And then you're going to want to roll out strategically, okay? Because once you've rebuilt your core branding elements, then it's going to be time for strategic rollout. So you're going to want to prioritize your high impact spots like your website and social channels. Introduce changes slowly, like into your brochures, ads, blogs, right? All that to maintain cost and manage costs, right? Gradual updates prevent shocking your loyal customers while still steadily progressing, okay? And that's what we did. We aligned all consumer and internal team communications to facilitate the transition, okay? You're also going to want to track performance, right? That's really key, because you're going to want to monitor critical metrics after launching our refresh branding. For instance, did it even achieve our original goals and KPIs? Maybe it was a wrong decision, Are customers responding positively? What refinements are still needed, right? So, be prepared to keep optimizing your new branding over time to maximize results and stay on top of future trends so your refresh stays fresh, right? So then how do we pull off a successful rebrand, right? For companies that require a complete rebrand, the process involves so much more effort, okay? You're going to want to start strategic, right? So every strong rebrand starts with an overarching strategy. It would be best to clarify where our brand has been, where we want to go, and how we will get there, okay? We're going to want to analyze our current state through market research, branding audits, and competitive analyses. Then define our brand vision and mission for the future, okay? Align our executives, stakeholders, and agencies on the strategy before visual redesign begins, right? And then know your audience. Oh my God, this is key, right? So reconnect directly with customers and target audiences through surveys, interviews, and focus groups. Right? And just have organic conversations. That's what I do. I have organic conversations too. That helps, especially with folks you built rapport with. But ask for honest feedback. And when you present yourself where you're, like I said, I like bring problems, solutions, bring it all. If you don't have a solution, bring the problem anyway, because I want to hear about it so we can make a change. If you don't like something, let us know. Just be poignant with it, right? Don't make a general comment. Tell us what you don't like or whatever, so we can change, just like feature changes or feature requests, right? Or whatever, So the goal is really to understand customer perspectives and be open-minded, okay? Frustrations, and needs deeply. You need to understand these, right, from your customers. When launching our rebrand, you're going to want to address these findings to maximize relevance. And then you're going to want to determine new positioning. So with strategy and customer insights finalized, right? It takes time though. This is not overnight, trust me. It took us months. You're going to want to decide on rebrand positioning. What do you want your company to represent going forward? Okay, what's really the future, right? You're going to want to draft your core messaging that resonates with your audience while differentiating it from competitors, right? You're going to want to redesign your visual identity. So now the visual transformation can begin. You're going to work with a branding agency or internally, your skilled designers to overhaul our logo. Now I did mine, like I said, I did. The color palette, typography, iconography, and imagery. I just happen to be good in that. Just happen to have that skill set. Okay, not everybody has that, but you can utilize a lot of different logo makers, right, or what have you. So, but again, get feedback from your team. And sometimes it takes different. I did different iterations, and got some team and customer feedback, right. So before we've decided on the final logo, right, change. So we want to also ensure that all elements align to reinforce our new brand positioning and message platform. We want to overhaul touch points too. So we want to visually redesign our website, packaging, promotions, fleet, uniforms, signage, stores, whatever you have, right? And every other customer touch point. Okay, you're going to want to make a list so you don't forget anything, because social media too, all of that. It is a massive undertaking. It's like changing your name, right? Going through, you got to change your social security number to reflect your name on your social security card, your driver's license, your passport. It's like that. It's a lot. And then just when you think you've gotten everything covered, it's like, oh, I forgot to change it there, right? So try to make a list, a checklist so you can help yourself out, and then leverage your team, right? It is a massive undertaking, but it's necessary to make the rebrand believable. You're going to want to realign too with your internal team. So your external rebrand can only succeed if employees also align internally. They have to believe it too. Get buy-in from them, right? Get buy-in from your team. Your team matters, right? Provide training and resources to advocate the new positioning with customers. Okay, adjust your culture also and workflows to deliver on the brand promise, right? Your policies, procedures, all of that had to change. All of that had to change, but that's okay. It's all right. We got it. It was a lot. I'm not gonna lie, but it's okay. It was definitely worth the effort. I'm gonna say it just took a long time to get it done and get it done right. We're gonna want to also promote the transformation. So heavily promote the new you, basically through advertising, social media, PR, events, and customer communications. Spotlight the benefits and improvements that we're delivering. We want to combat any skepticism by demonstrating real change versus empty branding lip service, right? We're also going to want to track and iterate. We want to monitor brand health metrics continuously, right? It's continuous monitoring, basically, of our brand health to assess how customers are responding. We are also going to want to be ready to quickly address any pain points and enhance our understanding of the new brand, okay? Look, it likely takes years of refinement many times for a rebrand to take hold fully. Ours took months, I'd say maybe about a year and a half, maybe, where people are finally, it's like, that's Cyvergance. Okay, it's really kind of starting to, really get out there and make a name for it. It's just awesome. So it is starting to pay off. It just takes a while. So don't be quick to judge, initially, because it does take time. Stay nimble and keep customers involved along the journey and your team, okay? So here's some key takeaways on brand refresh versus rebrand, right? So when faced with stale branding, you now have a detailed framework to decide between a refresh or rebrand. And to wrap up, here are some essential tips, right, in this podcast to keep in mind. So don't let your branding languish too long before taking action. Faded brands struggle to compete, okay? And sometimes die in the wind, right? So involve company leaders, customers, and frontline staff in refreshments or rebrands, right? A refresh can boost branding at a much lower cost, but don't try quick fixes either for more profound issues, okay? Rebrands do require a significant resource investment, but deliver complete transformation if you do it right, okay? Set clear goals and metrics early on to track the impact of any changes, and continue to evolve and optimize your new branding over time to stay competitive. With the right strategic approach, a compelling refresh or rebrand, of course, can deliver immense long-term value. It'll reignite customer interest, right? That's the goal. It'll unlock new markets, and opportunities, and will form a platform for future growth. Just don't let excessive change, though, become your norm. Branding also requires long-term consistency, so avoid constantly changing trends, constantly changing names, constantly changing everything, right, through continuous rebrands. Carefully update when needed and recognize when your core brand equity should be preserved versus discarded, right? So finding this balance leads to resonant, enduring brands that stand the test of time by continually evolving without revolution. Our customers crave familiarity and connection just as much as freshness, remember. So now get out there, okay? Hit refresh on your brand if you need to, but take a strategic, thoughtful approach to maximize results. Because with clear goals and proper investment, we can build a brand identity poised to thrive for years, okay? So incredible, right? So, let's talk about a few frequently asked questions, okay? So what are some signs your brand may be due for a refresh? Maybe your visual identity and messaging feel dated or stale. Customers say your brand doesn't feel modern or innovative enough. You've lost ground to competitors with fresher branding and positioning. Your products or services may have evolved beyond their original branding, and your brand awareness and sentiment metrics may have declined over time, right? So how much does a brand refresh cost then compared to a rebrand, right? So a brand refresh can often be executed for under $100,000, with many projects ranging from $50,000 to $75,000 or less. Full rebrands usually start around $150,000, can exceed $500,000 for larger corporations, or even more. Could be in the millions, right? Depending upon what's out there. So can we then refresh our brand identity internally? Look, we can handle essential refresh elements in-house, like updating logo files, like we did, or refreshing website copy, like we did. However, specialized expertise is definitely recommended to revamp visual identity and branding strategy. And I did consult with folks, right? But we didn't have a huge budget to work from either. So you definitely have to be strategic with that, right? But it worked out. It worked out. It took a little bit longer, but that's okay. I'm actually glad it went like it did, because we were able to really kind of think this through, and do this right. Specialized expertise is definitely recommended, okay, to, revamp your visual identity and branding strategy. Many companies, though, see do-it-yourself refreshes can backfire due to lack of branding knowledge. But again, I consulted with people. I consulted with CMOs and, all that. So I consulted with a lot. And then I also, I'm doing, a degree in, communications, PR, et cetera, right? So journalism and public communications as well. So getting that information also. And then from people that actually are bona fide subject matter experts in the field, right? What resonates with people, what resonates with your audience, right? So how long should it take then to implement a brand refresh, right? A phased brand refresh focused on core elements like logo and website can often be executed in 2 to 4 months. For more complex refreshes, 6 to 12 months is typical for a thorough strategy and stage rollout, right? So should customers be involved in a brand refresh? Absolutely. Do not forget to include them. It's because it's all about them anyways, right? Them and your team, right? So a refresh project should solicit customer perspectives through surveys, focus groups, or interviews. And you're going to want to address any pain points and disconnects between current branding and audience expectations, right? So with that said, I hope this has been helpful. Again, I always speak from something that's resonated with me. In this case, it's from personal experience, right? And I always like to share lessons learned with folks, right? I'm always about that because it's all about continuous learning, right? Life is a continuous learning journey. Okay, I'm going to tell you that. It's awesome in that way, you know? But do what you need to do, right? Go do your own research, consult with actual expertise, okay? Experts in the field. Even if you do consultation with them, a lot of folks will sit sometimes for a free consultation or whatever. Consult with people, though, that have bona fide expertise, not people that profess they are on social media or whatever. Look at legitimate clients, right, that they have had, look at testimonials, too, because many times people can fake the written testimonials on the website. So look for video testimonials also from people, right, because that's really key. Go beyond the Yelp and all that, really look at video testimonials because it says a lot, right? When somebody is willing to put themselves on camera, right, and talk about your company and what value it provides and how it resonated with them, that speaks, beyond words, right? It's just amazing. It's powerful, okay, and profound in that way, right? So look, a lot of folks look at Facebook went Meta, right? So there's a lot. I think 2023 was probably the year of rebrands. We were one of those actually, but there was a lot that went into that, and it wasn't like a knee-jerk reaction. It was well thought out. And again, it was a team decision, okay, to rebrand also. It was a customer decision and an internal team decision. A lot of thought went into it. A lot of strategy went into it, right? And we didn't take it lightly because, again, it is costly. It is, I'm not going to lie. But if you do it right, okay, follow these strategies and frameworks that I've discussed, it can pay off actually in dividends. And then you can start seeing your website, right, get the conversions, the click to conversion ratio that you want, right? People who go to your website, great, but if they're not converting to buy in something, then that's, but again, a lot of people, I've got a lot of really good feedback from our website, and it's awesome. And, it's definitely very colorful. It doesn't look like every other website out there. It definitely looks different. It definitely stands out. When you go to the website, you're going to remember the website. I can tell you that. We've got a lot of really good feedback on the rebranding, right? So for us, it's paid off. But it's because we thought it through. We consulted with experts, right? For stuff that was too expensive for us to pay for. We got consulting, though. We got advice from folks, and then we implemented what we could ourselves, right? But we didn't just go and do whatever just because, we thought and make a guess or a swag. That's the wrong way to do it, right? This is your company you're talking about, and it can sink or swim your company, right? It's all about customer, resonance with customer, the customer experience, the user experience, right? All of that, it all matters. Okay, and your team, you need to get team buy-in. If you get your team buy-in, even word of mouth, right? Word of mouth, recommendations are, worth more than gold, right? So I'm definitely happy with the refresh, but I continue to consult though with, or rebrand rather, sorry. I definitely continue to consult with, our customers and students and interns and everything. And, so far so good. I'll keep you posted. I'll definitely keep you posted, right? So do what makes you feel good about your company, but also remember the customer, right? And don't be just leave your ego at the door, okay? And don't take it wrong if somebody's, even your team, listen to your team too, they're out there, and multiple generations. This is a multiple generational, involvement is what I did too. Because, I didn't want it to look, definitely wanted to be modern. We're an AI company as well, right? And, education, consultation, we do cybersecurity, et cetera, right? So we're techies, right? So definitely wanted to make sure it resonated towards that and towards the youthful, attraction, right? I've got lots of people also wanting to work for my company, which is awesome. There's a lot of that too. So we're attracting really good talent too. And that's also what you want as well, is attracting really good talent, okay? Because that speaks volumes when you also get people flooding to you, wanting to work for your company, right? They see something, and and again, then the value aspect. So again, I hope this provided value to you, all right? And I'll continue to do these podcasts so as long as I can provide something that's just, of value. I don't like to just to talk. I like to say things that really kind of resonate with me, right? Again, lessons learned, life experiences, etc., that hopefully resonate with you too and can hopefully provide some inspiration or some guidance, right? Or even a resource for you to, adopt, if you will, if you're looking at, in this case, a refresh or rebrand, right? Because it's a huge decision to make. It really is. And it can be a costly decision, both financially and, of course, again, if you don't do it right, it can sink your company. I mean, it really can, right? So anyways, with that said, this is Anna London with Cyvergance signing out.